1 year in mission. We are reaching the city. We gathering all the young people around the world and more, the young adults, to go to the city and reach them and preach the gospel in a tangible way. So today, I have with me expert in the matter. So I want to welcome Dr. Rosario from the Greater New York Conference.
Thank you, Pastor.
We have here Dr. MILLIE, who works in community serving, Dr. Walter Harris, who also works in community service in the city. So we have expert, and I want to say thank you so much for being here. You guys are the best in this matter, and we are so happy to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for
having us.
Thank you, Dr. Peralta.
So let's talk about the salt of the earth. My boss told me, Pastor Peralta, how can you be the salt of the earth in the urban context? But before we go to do that, let's read the Bible. We have an amazing lady here who knows how to read in 20 languages. So she will be helping us at this moment.
Thank you so much.
Just read it in English. It's okay.
Sure, thank you so much.
Okay.
So the Bible, Matthew 5, chapter 5, verse 13. You are the salt of the earth, but if salt has lost its taste, how shall its saltiness be restored? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled under people's feet.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So let's talk about a little bit of 1 year mission and being the salt of the earth in the context of 1 year mission, in the context of the city. How can we be the salt of the earth in London, in New York? We are in New York at this moment. You can see it in the back. In Moscow. How can we be the salt of the earth in the context of 1 year mission?
Thank you, Dr. Peralta. It's really a blessing to be here and to share. The idea of sending the youth people to the cities is great because mission is itself is transforming. Mm-hmm. However, when we think in the salt in this context, we are talking about mingling. We are talking about connecting with people, different walk of life, different cultures. So we gotta make sure that if we're gonna send them, we have to send them well.
Okay.
So they could be able to mingle and they don't get frustrated. Because if you Google the salt, if you do whatever, you will check that it's served for this, for that. But whatever you look at, I mean, salt is not by itself. Okay. So you gotta mix it. You gotta mingle, you gotta connect it. So if you're talking about being the salt in the city, what you're saying actually is that you are finding ways to connect the people to the city in order to transform the city.
Excellent.
To make that they have to
and to give like a little flavor to the city, right?
Yes.
A little life, because I don't know if you have tried a soup without salt. Huh? I mean, it tastes like little bad or something. But when you add a little salt, like Ellen G. White says, just a little salt will help. Uh-huh. So how can we be that little salt to bring flavor to the people in the city? Why we need to reach the city? Help me out, Walter.
One of the things about reaching the city is because most cities are dense populations, and most of the time in most urban development, you find a lot of rich and affluent people. In the first time in history, we have more people living in cities than we have in suburban. And in reaching the city, you got to be relevant to the people who are living there. And so being relevant, you need to first find out their needs and what you can do. Just like salt, just enough salt in your food makes it taste right. Mm-hmm. Too much of it becomes tasteless, and not enough of it, you don't want it. Mm-hmm. And so as missionaries go into the city, we need to find out what are the needs and how we can meet those needs in an urban setting.
Oh, I love that.
I would add to that very interesting point is that we gotta make sure that the senders and the sendees are in the same page.
Okay.
Or if I may say, in the same book.
Okay.
Because what happened is that whatever project whatever you wanna do, you gotta make sure you answer why you're doing that. So why you are sending specifically young people?
Okay.
So why you are sending, how, and what? In that same order. So in whatever prayer you have, the most important question is why.
Why?
So you gotta make sure why you are sending, or if I'm going there, why I want to go to that specific city. So it's the city that I'm aiming, the city that the Lord is wanting for me. So why? Okay, because because in the why you have the values. Okay, we have the values. So why do I have to take time to go to a city? How I'm sure that I'm not losing a year of my life that actually that's gonna be also a blessing for me. So why? The how. In the how you have the process, okay? And in that process you gotta have the assessment, and you gotta have the tools. You gotta make sure that you're sending them well, so you're sending them to succeed. And at the end, the what, that's gonna be the profile before you send them. It was gonna be the profile after, that topic. I would say that.
Okay, I love it. I love that concept. So thank you, Dr. Rosario. How can we be more effective in the city? What method do you think we should consider when we send our young adults to the city? I know you were talking about being effective and looking at the needs of the community. Can you elaborate in that a little bit more, Walter?
One of the things that we tend not to do most when we go out into the city or into areas, one of the things that one should do first is to do an assessment. You need to know where the people are and what their needs are. And when you do an assessment, then you can know better meet the needs of the individuals. And so as young people who are coming into the city, one needs to understand how the city works. And so you need to connect with people in the city. You're not coming with the answers to all the questions. You're coming to be part of the solution. And so one of the things that I would urge is collaboration.
Okay.
And means then that we could find out those organizations who have ongoing programs in the city, who are already making a difference in the city. And from finding out this information, then you can collaborate with them. You can now work together, and the common denominator here is the community. And so from then now, you can move into specialized areas, like in New York City, we can say, for some of our areas, English as a second language. I remember in when we had One Year Mission here, that some of our young people started programs in some of our predominantly Hispanic areas, and they were teaching English as a second language.
Okay, excellent. So Millie, tell us a little bit. Is 1 year mission only for men, or do you think we should consider ladies?
I think 1 year mission should be for everyone, and it is for everyone. Whether you're from 18 and above, I think you should definitely get involved, and you would make a difference, and it'll make a difference in your life. In each person's life, it would make an excessive and imperative difference, definitely.
Thank you so much. All right, Dr. Rosario.
Yeah, if I may, I want to pick on Walter, because I think that he said something that is very important, and that we call that to work with the community. I mean, you are not going to impose anything to them. Do you know what I mean? You are not gonna go there and say, okay, this is my agenda, so you work with them. But I believe that if you are sending the young people there, the challenge is gonna be to connect, okay? Probably gonna be a different environment, so we gotta find, ways which should give them kind of path. And I would suggest something that we could do, something that sometimes we teach our brothers and sisters on how to make a disciples. So there's like a method that we call the 4 I's. First of all, you identify somebody. That's number one. So you identify. Number 2, you intercede.
Okay.
That's prayer. Okay. Number 3, you invest. Okay. And number 4, you invite.
Okay.
I mean, that's one tool to connect. Okay. So we gotta give them
Can you
tools.
repeat those 4 again? Because we're gonna put it on the screen. You will watch it on the screen, and you need to write those 4, please.
Let me see if I remember. Yeah, the first thing that we have to do is we have to identify.
Identify, okay, very good.
Yeah, and in order to do that, you have to pray. I remember in Acts chapter 16 that Paul was wanting to go to one place, and the Holy Spirit said, "No, you're going to this place."
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And he had a dream, and the Holy Spirit said, "Hey, come and help us." And so you have to identify. Could be, I mean, somebody in your school, in your marketplace, whatever you are. So you have to identify. Number two, you have to intercede. So you have to make sure that you bathe everything with prayer. We have to pray, okay, day and night, because this is a Holy Spirit job, okay. And after that, we have to invest. Okay, we have to invest ourselves. We have to be to be willing to go an extra mile. So we have to be willing to serve. So service should be ingrained in our life. If you are not willing to serve, I mean, because this is not a cruise. When you're talking about missionary, you're not talking about a cruise. You're talking about service. You're gonna, and after that, then it's the last one. Then you're going to invite. So you identify that person, you intercede, you invest your life, and now you invite that person.
That's how to be
That's very powerful.
salty. Amen? Salty.
Yes.
We need to be
Amen.
salty. Okay.
Very powerful.
So, do you think 1 year mission is important? Walter, I remember that 1 year mission began here in New York City in 2013. And we had an awesome time looking at those young adults reaching the city. What are the things that it was done there that you think it helped to connect with the community? I know there was a disaster that happened. What do you think? Well, do you remember what happened in 2013? I know you mentored them, you were helping them. Just give us a little guidance here.
There are a couple of things that happened, and one of the things that I would haste to point out as we discuss is that in an urban city as big as New York is, and there's so many people around, one can be lonely. And for 1 year in mission, you're leaving your home, your comforts of your home, your small village setting, your families and your friends, and you're coming to a big city. That could be scary. And so for the first couple of weeks, we had to deal with the adjustment of the 1 year mission folks to climatize them. It was winter.
Okay.
So we had to climatize them to New York City winter, and we also had to get them comfortable to be away from home. And so that was a challenge because some people became homesick very, very early on. But once we were able to pass that threshold, we were able now to get them into the community to do assessment. We had just came through one of our largest disasters in recent years of Sandy. And so they were able to go out and do assessments in various communities.
Walter, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think this is very important before you move to that second point. And this is something that all of you that are watching at this moment, I think this is a very, very relevant point. When you are in the city, you might feel lonely.
Yes.
So you need to remember that, and you need to remember to work as a team.
Yes.
So you can support each other.
Yes.
Because we talk about reaching the city and reaching and helping others, but at the same time, we forget about the individual who's going to do that.
Going through our own, yes.
So you need to care for yourself also
First.
and be, straight and be whole.
Right.
In order to reach the city.
Amen.
Because if you're going to feel lonely, you're going to be depressed and this and that, and then you are not going to be so effective. So that's why you need to find mentors and support each other when you're working in the city. So I think that's very important. And then I'm going to move to a second point, but after you...
You mentioned the word mentor. That is key. I also would add the word coach.
Yes.
Somebody that could coach you. Do you know what I mean? That you could be connected. I mean, that coach is not gonna giving you the answers. He's just gonna ask you questions, and he will help you to clarify. So each one of those young adults must have a coach, okay, to follow up them. Also, let me tell you something. We gotta be responsible. That's what I'm saying. If we're gonna send them, we have to send them well. And if we're gonna receive them, we need to receive them well. Because I remember that was last year. We had a couple of students from one of our schools from one of our countries, and they were two. They were well received. I mean, the project was well prepared. There were two new church plants. You know what I mean? And they came to work in those two church plants. So they were blessed. They were embraced. Okay, but they didn't come to think, oh, what we're gonna do. No, they came to a very specific and outlined project.
Okay.
I mean, so they could be embraced, but also they could give their best. And
Okay.
at the end, they were blessed and they helped those churches to grow. That was a great blessing. So we have to send them well, but we have to make sure that we prepare ourselves to receive them well.
Okay, thank you. So let's pick up on your last point, and then we're gonna start wrapping up. Think about something that you want to tell those missionaries that go into the city, please, at this moment. So Walter, let's pick up on your second part.
Yeah, so on the second part of it is getting them out into the community. So each individual had different ministry that they were interested in. And so we paired them up with different areas.
Okay.
And so every day they would decide where they would want to go, which organization, which church they would like to work with,
Okay.
and to establish a ministry for the next couple of years
Okay,
that they're
excellent.
here. And one of the things I've seen, a few of us were in Germany over the last summer.
Oh, you were in Germany?
Yeah, but fortunately.
Oh wow! Were you too?
Yes, I was.
And you were there too.
And so one of the things that we were able to be blessed there is to see some of the young folks who were part of the first pilot program
Yes.
of One Year Mission, is to see them active in ministry in Germany. We were well received. My wife and I had an awesome time working again with some of these young people because we established a connection. And so even on Facebook around the world, as things have been done in their lives, we are on each other's Facebook ministry and see what they're doing and able to continue to mentor and to encourage each other in ministry around the world.
Amen.
And so that's one of the great things that I've seen, that it widens your scope, because I've learned a lot from my Australian friend while he was here, Josh, as they do things in Australia and we still connect. And even my friends in the Philippines and in South Africa. And that helped us to understand that New York is a very diverse area. If you're anybody from any walks of life, you can find in New York City. And so one of the things that you can easily missed is the opportunity to even enjoy it. I mean, these guys enjoyed it while they were here.
Okay.
So even though it's something that you want to give, you must be able to enjoy your time.
Okay.
Find people in the local churches to connect with, in the community to connect with, because at the end of it, this is one of the things that's going to carry you through for life.
Okay,
Amen.
very good. So we're gonna wrap it up at this moment, and we're gonna have Dr. Rosario say something that you wanna just tell your young people.
Spiritual life. So when you go on mission, that's a blessing. God is with you. The Holy Spirit is by your side. However, you got to understand that you have to exercise. Paul told Timothy, so train yourself to be godly. And the idea of train yourself is there. The Greek word there is to gymnasium. So and from that we have the concept of spiritual disciplines. So you have to pray. You have to read the Bible. You know what I mean? You have to cultivate service as a vocation. So don't forget the spiritual part. It's going to be nice here and there, Holy Spirit with you. But remember, the connection with the Holy Spirit is the one that's going to give you the power to overcome.
So what is the message that you have for the ladies?
Well, I have for everyone, I would say impact. As soon as you become involved in a one-year mission, not only are you impacting a life or a city, but it's being impacted upon you, because now you are also getting to know not just the people in the city, but the people that have come from all around the world. And now you live together as a family and you become a family. So that alone is an impact that will go with you forever.
All right, great.
Yeah.
So Walter, 10 seconds, just shoot it.
Teamwork.
Yes.
Amen.
Teamwork.
Yes.
Work as a team. You might come individually and separately, but work as a team,
Amen.
stick together, work together, support each other, and God will bless you.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. So thank you so much, family.
Thank you.
You did great. Awesome. We got to do another one. We got to do another one. So God bless you. 1 year in mission is the way to go. We're going to be praying for each one of you missionaries, and I know you're going to do great. So God bless, and see you another time. Bye-bye.